going
Hi,
on? I'm telling you all day.
everybody. This is a very good friend of mine. Like, this is my guy. His name is Blake Green. I keep doing this too. I'm gonna let you introduce yourself instead of I've done this before and I start telling people about themselves. I'm gonna let you introduce yourself and then we get started. But I'm very excited to have him on. If you guys follow me or him on Instagram, I mean, we post each other all the time. Like especially when he was in LA. Like this was our guy. Anyways, Mr. Blake, go ahead and tell the entire world about you. You can go in depth or as not in depth as you want.
Oh, I mean, I'm a pretty simple guy, so I'll definitely keep it simple as possible. But my name is Blake Green. I'm 27 years old, and I'm currently residing in North Carolina, which I've been for about 2.5 years. Came out from California, and it's just been a joy to be here. I was just telling Wade, we woke up and there was some snow outside, right? And it wasn't for like a heavy snow or anything crazy. Once the sun came up for a few hours, it was gone. But being from California, like that's not something I get to see, especially as we start to drift towards Christmas. So it was just like wow, it just felt like Christmas was in the air. I woke up, started taking videos and pictures and all that good stuff. So I'm ready for Christmas time.
I love it. Cool. So, like he said, this man is from LA. Well, yeah, from LA. From LA. Um, and we've known each other for what, 5 years now?
Yeah, you started trading in 2020, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
nearly 5 years.
yeah, that's
That's
crazy.
crazy. That's crazy. So yes, this is someone that I've known for 5 years. We run up businesses together, bags together, and just real like genuine friendship. And I think it's really hard to find. I talked about this with someone else. It's really hard to find genuine people. Um, and so when you do, like you hold tight to them because it's just hard nowadays. I feel like to find like just a genuine person that's just like a good person is like hard to find.
Nah, I
Um,
definitely agree.
so to get a little bit more just info about you, tell us like because another thing that myself and Blake relate to is like we were athletes. Obviously, yeah, he's 27, I'm 30 now. Like we're in different stages and old and shit, but we were athletes, and so tell me a little bit about your journey growing up, like in California, being a football athlete. Like, give me a little rundown before we get into the trading thing.
Man, where to go with this? Yeah, I mean, growing up out there and playing football, football is always very competitive in Southern California, especially as you start to get to high school, but even as, you're young, it's just something super competitive. And even seeing certain high schools do certain things that they're not supposed to or have contact with certain kids, it was crazy. And it's something like me and my parents experienced. My mom's like, oh, it's so and so, right? I'm not throwing anybody under the bus, but anyways, right? So it was just see that as a kid. But most importantly, I mean, football taught me a lot about, just grinding as any type of athlete. Not only grinding, but also the teamwork. That's probably what I miss most. Everybody
Mhm.
throughout their life, but like the teamwork of doing something together and achieving something bigger than you is like, man, that's the most like fun or exhilarating thing that I, get to experience. And obviously that's something that translates to, what we do now. And just bringing that team environment. So that's something that I really appreciated. But yeah, growing up out there was cool. Ran track for a bit, hooped somewhat,
Wait, what did you run in track?
like you said, what events?
Yeah.
I ran the one, the two, the 4x1, 4x4, and high jump.
Oh hell no! So were you a sprinter? Oh wow!
I
I
was
don't know
just,
why I didn't know that about
yeah,
you.
really back in the day, like high jump was really like I could sprint and keep up for sure, but like high jump, fun fact, right? And I don't say this, but I was actually, how old was I? I had to be maybe 10, I think, maybe 10 when I was 10 years old. I was the number one high jumper in the United States, which is a fun
What?
kept top five throughout like the entire year. Um, and that's some glory day stuff. It's nice to look back on. But yeah, so
That's
that we
bro.
had a
That's fire.
we had some track meets out in Chicago. So that was like the first time I was introduced to like humidity and just like running, and that was like whoa, like way different than California. Um,
Mhm.
the Junior Olympics for track. So that was super fun. But to keep a long story short, right, we ended up playing football. Football was the love. And then going to high school, went to Bishop Alemany High School in Mission Hills. So shout out to Alemany. A lot of good times, a lot of good people. So did some good things there. But unfortunately, after surgery after surgery after surgery, it was 3 surgeries. And it was time to move on to something different. And it's so crazy because, like, when you're looking back, into that moment, like I don't know how you felt. I feel like every athlete experiences it, but like right when you give up, whatever sport you were playing, it's just like an identity shift. You know what I mean? I had people like 3 years after, like, bro, where you playing football at? And I'm like, bro, I've been playing football for a long time. Like,
Yeah,
so,
yeah, yeah.
but like, what'd you feel?
Yeah, I was gonna say, so you played all the way up to high school, right? And then you went to college, yeah?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. So, yes, huge identity crisis. I think that first year, I just think not enough people talk about like the transition after being an
Mm,
athlete, your whole, no matter what level, right? If you play high school or college or whatever, like if you're just doing a sport for, feel like a lot of years, all of your life, you just, that's your identity. Like it probably for you is like, bro, I'm just Blake the football player, bro. Like I don't know, like that's how I felt. I'm like, bro, I just play basketball. Like my whole life is just being in this world of like I'm gonna play basketball like forever, and then when all of a sudden it just doesn't happen, like you're just like, whoa, who am I? Like
yeah.
I don't know what I do anymore. It was very strange. I feel like I was not saying like super depressed because I don't want to say like that, but you don't really realize how much it takes up of your life until it's gone. And you're just like, damn,
Nah, for sure.
what
That's
do I
a
do?
Yeah, it's like trying to figure out what you want to do. They always say, to athletes, and I heard it always, man, have a plan B, have a plan B, have a plan B. And it's like, okay, you could have a plan B, but like, is it something that you love? You know what I mean? And that's the thing. Sometimes like plan A is always just like doing what I love, no matter what it is, but
Hmm.
something I love, and that's the plan. You know what I mean? So as far as plan B, like I guess plans could change, but at the end of the day, I'm gonna find something doing I love, and I think that's something that like makes me feel better. Just because as years pass, like I had certain friends, like when I was feeling that way, when I was feeling behind and not really having like direction,
Yeah.
uh, a couple years passed and kind of got settled, started trading, built a business, which was super, amazing. Still doing that today, but it made me realize like once my friends stopped playing college football or even did like a year in the NFL, a couple years in the NFL, and then stopped playing, now they're starting to feel it, but they're feeling it later. Whereas I was starting to get settled. Now the conversation I was having with people that just stopped playing was like, "Hey man, like how'd you feel when you stopped playing football? Like I'm kind of in a
Yeah.
rut. I don't know how to feel. I don't know who to talk to. Just different things like that. And that's something that just made me realize that everything happens for a reason. It sounds cliche because people always say it, but like you'll always be guided to where you need to go, but you got to pick up on the signs.
Yeah, facts. I think that's so true. And I felt the same too. I felt like, yeah, plan B, and like I felt like I had a plan B, but like I also felt some type of not resentment, but I felt like a way because it was like, okay, after college, we're what, like 23, 24. And
Mm,
it was like, yeah, no, 23. And it was like, okay, I've already wasted like the early beginning of my 20s dedicating it to the sport. And now I'm in the real world and I'm like, holy shit. Like now working with younger people that are like 18, 19, that are like that didn't go to school or don't, play sports competitively, I just feel like they had so much time to like get their adult life together. So then
yeah,
them being 23, 24, like they've already got things in motion. And I felt like coming out of college, it was like, oh, you got to go back to like step one. Like you need a job, like where am I gonna live, like all the stuff that a lot of people already figured out. Not saying I'm not grateful for, because I love playing basketball and stuff, but I felt like I was behind. Like I'm like catching up because I'm like, fuck, and now I'm 27 and I'm just like, holy crap, bro. Like I feel like, I just, that's how I felt. But
no, it's factual, man.
yeah, I sort of felt like that. Okay, so high school, you were a quarterback, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, cool. Quarterback. And then how was college like? And also, what did you have surgery on?
Man. So my first surgery was in high school. I tore my LCL on my left knee and my meniscus, which was like that was like the least of my worries as far as surgeries went. But then the following year, I played up until maybe game 7. So that's like right when the recruiting process starts to pick up. And, it just started to get deeper into the season where you're starting to see, playoff runs, championship run, yada yada.
Yeah.
But all the colleges and during bowl season when all the college football bowl games are going on, like that's late time high school football where coaches have time to come and see you, watch you play, different stuff like that. But anyways, that year I had separated my shoulder, so I got pretty much it's called like an AC joint separation. So everything holding my collarbone down was completely torn.
Oh
With
no.
so your collarbone just kind of like floating there, which yeah, that was
Ew.
hurt. You know what I mean? You definitely felt that one. But to keep a long story short, after I graduated high school, I went to Glendale College for a year. I redshirted, or actually I gray shirted, just like for athletes, all the medical terms you got to take a certain amount of units under to make sure your clock doesn't start. But
Hmm.
anyway, got healthy, came back, and then I actually ruptured my ACL on my right leg. Right, first week of spring ball, after being healthy. Um, Recovered from that, rehabbed, yada yada, and then leading up to that following season, tweaked my shoulder again like a week before our first game. So after that, I was kind of just like, man, if they because what they told me was it was going to be 8 weeks, right? You're gonna have to sit out
Yeah.
8 weeks, and I was like, well, if we only played 10 games, I was like,
Only two games.
yeah, I was like, I don't even want. I think I'm taking my signs, like you know what I mean.
Yeah. Hmm.
Happened over and over and over. And it's like one thing to do it for one surgery, but it was like another to do it for another surgery, but on another limb, and then go back to the knee like 2 years later. You know what I mean? After
Yeah.
recovery, like, man, I think I'm good. So
Yeah.
that's
Facts. Damn, that's crazy, dude. So when your collar like
hmm.
um what happened that made it do that? Like did someone run into you? Like how did that
So I was running the ball, but I ended up having somebody kind of like jump on my back, right? And all I did was come down kind of just on that shoulder. But
Oh,
big. The guy was big for sure. I forget. He ended up playing somewhere. Maybe I don't know. He played somewhere in the league, bounced around a few teams. But big dude went to USC, and we kept in contact and everything. But just yeah, big dude, right angle, and
damn, bro. I would have been freaked out if I would have just seen my collarbone just
well, the tough part is like once it happens and we're in that game, like I got up because we ran a hurry up offense, so like we were going 24/7. Like as soon as the ball was down or somebody got tackled, like we're looking for the next signal, we're lining up and running the play.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I feel my shoulder. I'm like, whoa, you know what I mean? Like that felt kind of weird. And
Yeah.
we ended up running a play, and we were in a position on the field where we were kind of like past our 50. We didn't have a kicker that could kick it super long, so we weren't going to get 3 points, but ended up being a pass play, and I ended up throwing it kind of downfield. Got
Yeah.
picked. They got it like their own 20. So, like, we would have punted, would have been the same thing, but like, that was the
Yeah.
last. Like, I threw it, and it was just,
Done.
yeah, I didn't like that. That didn't feel good.
Holy crap. Yeah, injuries are something different. And you just feel like it's never going to happen to you or like, it's just I feel like it's a very common thing for like college athletes to have multiple surgeries, which like really sucks. And I wonder if it's something to do with playing a sport your whole life and just doing the same thing over and over again, just like wears and tears.
Yeah.
Or I even think about just like strength and conditioning training. Like I feel like in America, you're like lifting in high school,
Mm,
and it's regular, but like back home in New Zealand, like never lifted a weight until I got to college, and that was like a huge shock to my body because I was just like, holy crap, this is like sore.
yeah.
This sucks. Then I have to go. No, it doesn't suck, but it's just like different. And then I have to go to
Yeah.
practice. Like
Mm.
I don't know.
I
It's just a
think,
lot.
I think when I ruptured my ACL on my right leg, which was like the last injury, like serious surgery, I think during that time, like, dude, we worked so hard. Like, we'd go to practice in the morning, but like, we would lift and like do some crazy lifting. And then we had like 10-minute period to get our cleats on. Then we go condition. And then we would
Yeah.
have, you know what I mean? So it happened at the end of practice, just like non-contact. You know what I mean? But I
No way.
feel like my legs were so done just from that day, and it just fatigued. You know what I mean? So once that happened, it was just like, man, I think it's just from being fatigued. Because it's like I get it. Everybody has a routine with different teams, but I'm like,
Yeah.
why are we doing that? And
Doing
then
all this.
we will never feel like this before a football game ever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it makes sense to me. But hey, to each their own. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Damn, bro, that's so damn. I didn't know you tore just a non-contact. That's
Yeah.
crazy. I've seen because I know it's more common in like girls to tear their ACL just based on our anatomy and how our bodies are formed.
Mm,
Um, and I've seen so many girls like it'll literally just be like they'll just cross the ball over. Defense is like nowhere even near them, and then pop, and they're just like, on the ground. I'm just like, oh shit! I'm like, bro, they had to have tore their ACL, and it's just so shitty to see because you're just like,
yeah.
what? How did that even like?
I remember always seeing people, that people tear their ACLs or rupture them, whatever. And I was always like, man, like that's gotta hurt. You know what I mean? I always remember knowing like if that ever happens, like you'll know it happened. So when it happened, I was like, I knew
Done.
it happened. And then my coach was like, dude, you're good. Your knee is not even swollen right now. Like you're good. It usually swells up immediately. Yada yada yada. And I was like,
No.
done. I was
Yeah.
like, yeah.
No, for sure this is done.
Like, if
Damn.
this is what I said, this is for sure it. It has to be.
That's crazy. Yeah, knees ain't nothing to play with at
Because you
all.
4 years, right?
Yeah, I had two knee surgeries, so it was a little bit different though. Like mine was a bit oh my God. I pretty much had arthritis, so
Mm,
I was old as shit. No, my knees were old as shit. No,
yeah,
but
I hear you.
yeah, my junior year when I transferred from Utah Valley, my sit out year, I was just practicing like 'cause we were in the practice squad of like all the we said dudes are our practice players, and I used to be on with them this team, and then like my knee was all good, but it was just really tight. So I looked down. Well, I've had tendonitis since high school, like knee tendonitis. If you've had tendonitis in your knees, it just sucks. Like it's just a pain right in the middle of your knee, and I had
Mm,
that since high school. Um, but anyways, I'm just like we're chilling, and mind you, we're just cooking our team. Like me and the practice place, we're cooking the team, and then I remember looking in the shower because my knee just felt really tight. You know, when your knee
mm.
swells up, it just feels tight. So I
Oh
looked
yeah.
down and my knee's fat. And I'm like, whoa, what's going on? I didn't feel no pop, nothing. It was
Yeah.
just fat. So I like go to the training room and I'm like, what is going on? Like my knee is, whatever. We book an MRI and they're like, oh wow. Because they're like, oh, maybe it's a meniscus tear. Because meniscus tears sometimes like it's not sore. It's not
Yeah.
super sore. I knew it was an ACL because I've seen ACLs and like you can tell when it pops. Like you can see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the MRI came back and said I was missing cartilage in like the back of my knee. So how your knee like bends like this, there was
Yeah.
missing cartilage right here. So it was rubbing bone on bone. And it was tiny. Like it was like the hole was so tiny, but it was causing me so much swelling and pain. I was like, what the hell? And then obviously the surgeon was like, this is very uncommon for someone in your age to have this.
Mm,
Um, so anyways, I had surgery straight away and I rehabbed for 7 months. And like I was able to come back like before my senior year. Like I was good to go by my senior year and then halfway through, no, towards the like our conference play just started.
mm.
Um, I felt the same exact pain just in my other knee. And I was like, oh my God, it's the same thing. And I keep telling my trainer, I'm like, it's the same thing. She's like, no, there's no way. Like that's like
Mm.
there's no way it's the same thing. Like it's just not that. Anyways, I took an MRI and sure enough, it was like the exact same thing, nearly the same size in the exact same place in my other knee. It was so weird.
Bro,
And the surgeon, because before the MRI, he's like, there's no way, trust me. Like, I've never seen something like this before. It's not going to be that. I'm like, but it feels the same. I'm
yeah,
telling you, it's the same. And he was like, wow, you were right. It's the exact same thing.
I would have made him.
I know he apologized. He's like, "I'm so sorry. I just never seen this before." I was like, "It's cool," but I
Man.
played out like it was an injury that I could play on. It was just like I couldn't practice. Like I wouldn't practice really because my I did like prepare to take all the swelling down before my next game. I was
Mm.
on hella drugs to get through the games, and then it was just it was just swollen. My knee was just hella swollen. And like I was just drugged up for like the last half of my senior year. But I played through and it was after the day after. we lost in the conference tournament, like one of the games in the conference tournament. I had surgery. I had surgery straight away.
Oh, when they give you surgery for like a lack of cartilage, like what do they do?
So they took cartilage from my kneecap and they like plugged it in. Yeah, I had different options that I could do. Like I could take cartilage from a dead person, but
I
your
got
body can reject that.
I got that in my shoulder.
Okay. For
not
real?
not by choice, not by I didn't have a choice.
Oh my
But
God. So
anyways,
yeah, so that's weird. I know that's strange, but that's
yeah,
weird. So you got someone's cartilage in your body?
yeah, they're
Wow.
whatever their ligaments are.
Wow. So yeah, that was an option, but they were like, but your body could reject it and then you'd have to have surgery again.
Mm,
Although like you could just do nothing and then really for like the rest of your life just like manage it.
yeah,
And not really play competitive sport, not really be able to like run, or to have surgery and then, have a chance of not ever playing competitively, but still being able to do stuff. I was like,
yeah,
well, shit, surgery, the hell?
yeah.
um, but then 3 weeks after conference, I only had like 3 weeks till I graduated, so it was like I was short for time. So I had the surgery fast. Then I only had like about a month of rehab with my trainer. And
Mm,
then I moved to California. And then they paid, I mean, shout out to my school because they didn't have to do any of that, but they paid for like 3 months worth of rehab out here in California for me. But the recovery is 7 months. So I had 7 months to four.
mm,
So on one of my knees, like one knee that will get sore is the one that like didn't, my other knee's perfectly fine. I can run, I can do everything, but the knee that'll be sore would be my left knee that didn't really get as much rehab. And I'm
mm,
just like, fuck.
yeah.
Anyways, that was a long drawn out explanation. But yeah, that's my fucked up knees.
Good talk. Funny because you said like not to even get off topic, but like when you were saying your trainer was like, oh, it's probably this, probably that. Like junior year, like my trainer was telling me something too, like, oh, it's probably your hamstring, right? And I'm like, dude,
No.
hey, like tendon from your knee, yada yada yada, whatever it was, and my knee was swollen for like 5 weeks, and I played 5 weeks, and then I was like, dude, I have to get an MRI. And they told me I had a torn LCL and yeah, whatever else. You know what I mean? And I'm like, dude, I told you, like,
You.
you know what I mean? Like, did I make it worse? I don't know, but yeah, just
Damn.
you know what I mean.
So you played on the torn LCL.
It happened before the season because it was like we had a scrimmage before the season, and after that game, I was like, man, I don't know, my knee feels a little off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Day, and then it was like that, like ever since. Like,
Holy moly. Holy shit, dude. Wow. Yeah. I mean, but would you say like overall how you look at like college and like playing sports, like what are just some takeaways now that you're older that you like look back and like you're grateful for because of you playing football?
I mean, I would like there's a lot, but even just talking about the surgeries right now, like when you deal with a real surgery that like will set you off, you know what I mean, for an extended period of time, and then you do that and come back, like I feel like after doing that 3, 4 times, like if anything happens in life or in business or in trading or whatever happens, I'm like, this is nothing. You know what I mean? Like this is nothing at all. You know what I mean? Or no matter what it is, like I don't know, just set you up to feel uncomfortable and like the most uncomfortable.
Mhm.
You push your body to the limit. Just working hard. You know what I mean? But also understanding how to play your role on a team. You know what I mean? I think that's like a wow. Like some people don't know how to play their role in life and business and whatever it is, and it's like, man, you're making this not click because you're just you know what I mean. Like you're not self aware of what you are good at. Maybe you're insecure and you're trying to do too much on one side where it's like you're trying to make up ground for what you lack. But it's like, dude, you don't have to make up ground for what you lack when the people around you are here to pick you up in that area. You know what I mean? So it's like, I would say that's big time. Like everything to do with teamwork is like, man, it just leads to so many different things that we've seen over the last 5 or 6 years. That's just like it's a beautiful thing.
Perfect. And I think now, like being out and about in the adult world, you like really get a sense for how important being an athlete helps just with like life. Cause yeah, you work with other people, you do things with other people, and like you can just be like, damn, like things just don't click the same that I feel like if you were an athlete and go into the adult world, things just click or yeah, like you're more compassionate, more understanding, you want to be in a team, want to collaborate, like you're okay with playing your role. Like those things that I feel like some people can struggle with out in the real world because I've never had to deal with that or be in those type of environments or situations with that. So yeah, I mean, sports really just, you know, helps you, I feel like, just in life to a lot of extents.
No,
Um, but okay, so that's your athlete life, and then tell us how, because this is how I met Blake, guys. Who I'm super look if it was not for Blake, I wouldn't know trading. Like, yes, I would have heard about trading, but I wouldn't have known it existed, and I wouldn't have got into this space and like really had the opportunity to, do what we did and do what we do. So walk me through like how that when that happened, how that happened, and why you jumped on it. Like, walk us through sort of the beginning of your trading journey.
man. So like we were saying, once we stopped playing football, right, it was just a shock. So I'd say for like a year, maybe like a year and a half, maybe even like 2 years, like I was just a student. You know what I mean? And just like I worked too, I had a part-time job working with kids like after school. But anyways, going to school, doing the work thing, then also trying to figure out like where am I going to go to school? What do I want to study? What am I passionate about? And it was just like, man, I don't really know. You know what I mean? Like, I want to work with athletes doing something. You know what I mean? That was my thing. I was like, I know a lot of people that play athletes or play sports, play football, play
Hmm.
basketball that are athletes, and that's just what I was thinking about at the time. But it's still just, I was like, is that your dream? You know what I mean? Like people always talking about dream big, and I was like, I don't know, but
Hmm.
it's while I was in school. Um, like I mentioned, I went to Glendale College for a graduate year to get healthy. And this is just something that kind of puts it in perspective for me anytime I look back. Is like, I went
Hmm.
to college, but once my time ended there, had some talks with some coaches on certain stuff that's happening behind the scenes. I ended up going to Colleges of Canyons, which was right down the road from my house, right? But even the story how I went there, there was some sort of, I don't want to say beef, but just certain problems that happened in the past with certain coaches. So that's why
Hmm.
I didn't go there in the first place. But we ended up talking, clearing some stuff up, ended up going there, right? Got hurt, didn't play football further. But while I was at CLC, right, I met somebody, right, that actually traded, and we ended up crossing paths, and even just the way that we crossed paths, and ended up getting each other's contact to the one that started trading. Right. So when she started trading, she was like, yo, da 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 da, right, and started telling me a little bit about it. And I'm just very stats and facts. Like I don't really get hyped up off of certain things that our culture
Hmm.
gets hyped up about, or even just people making a lot of money, whatever, right? And especially in this space, because it's a lot of social media or lifestyle type of posts. So that's
Yeah.
not side of me. But once I started getting introduced to the numbers and the facts and stats of things, and even she started having dialogue with me and just helped me understand. I was like, whoa,
Yo.
yeah, I was like, I, it's clicking right now. I feel like I wasn't going to understand this, but it's clicking. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's something that excited me. So, throughout those, first few months of just trading and seeing what was possible, I just wanted to see that if I could make $1 during, some trades, just $1, I was like, then it lets me know I can make $5 or I can make
Hmm.
$10. But I just wanted to understand how it worked. I didn't care if it was a lot of money because at the time I was like, dude, I'm a college student. I don't care if I get $30 a week out of this on top of my job. Like that'll be some food money. It'll be some going out money,
Facts.
whatever type of money I want it to be. Right. I was just focused on getting a little bit of some steady income somewhere else, even if it was something $30 a week. Okay, cool. I don't have to DoorDash or Uber to get that $30 or $50 or $100, right? Whatever it was. So once I kind of started just seeing how I was moving there, it was just opening my eyes to a lot of different things and just seeing how a skill set and something that nobody can take away from me. Like I was able to learn something. I was able to listen to somebody. I was able to be a good student. There's a lot of things that comes into being a profitable trader, but I was like, okay, there's a lot of things that I'm doing right. And you learn a lot of lessons as a trader. But anyways, once I started trading, it just really helped me see a lot of different things and seeing how trading's just a tool, right? It's not the end all be
Hmm.
only have to label yourself as a trader. How as a football player, we were labeled as you're a football player. Like that's it,
Hmm.
don't play any other sports. But when I saw trading, I was like, people can say, "Oh, you're a trader," but like, I'm a I'm a person who trades for sure. But like, I'm using it as a tool to do other things and start other businesses or whatever it might be. And so many things that are I'm wanting to achieve. Right? It's just leading to the big picture, and I think that's what gives me fire day just to keep moving forward because I know I have a way.
Mm-hmm.
I think with football, like we had a goal in mind, something we wanted to achieve as a team. We had personal goals along that. There's certain battles that we had to do and deal with internally, externally, whether it was physical, whatever it was. But it was just the power of the journey. Like I just like the journey, and with trading, like I know I'll always have that journey of like I can always grow here. Like I
Mm-hmm.
here. And there's not too many other things that I see in life, that you can do where you're like, I'm in control of my growth and the things that I'm doing and learning and what I'm doing every single day to help me get better. And it also like lets you look at the mirror. Like, do you think that's something that
Facts.
like, do you think people start doing it and they're kind of like, maybe this isn't for me, but it's like, why isn't this for you? You know what I mean? And those are the questions that what I mean come down to it. So I just feel like it shines a bright light and lets you follow a path, and it's just that tool. So inspires me to this day.
Man, you spoke so many facts. I think, yeah, I think like you said, providing a way, like same thing when we sort of met. Or I feel like a lot of people in that time when we started back in 2020, it was just we didn't have a way. There was no other, like you heard about trading and investing, and like the automatic assumption was like, oh, you need a lot of money, or you need to be smart. You need to have all these things before you do that, because that's just what we assume, because it's not really just like everyday people doing it. Or if they are, they don't talk about it, right? Like it's like a hush hush thing. No one really like says anything, or if they do trade or they do invest, they don't tell you how to, or anything. So you're just sort of on an island, like, for what? I want to make my life better, but how? Um, and I
Yeah,
feel like that's how a lot of us in that time got into this, was like, bro, we just want another way. Like, and I think it all ties together. Being an athlete was like perfect transition into a space like this, because yeah, like where we have to take accountability. Like trading does make you look in the mirror, bro, and have to like have really really real transparent conversations with yourself, like, oh damn, you are greedy, oh you don't have patience. Stop blaming other things when it's you making the mistakes. Like you brought up a good point of like, in this space you are truly in control. Everything that you do, you are truly in control of how you trade, what you trade, what time, how much money you put in. Like, yeah, I don't think there's any space that really gives you that much control over everything, right? Like, think about like a job, right? Like, they control your pay, when you work, all these different things, like, or what you're doing and stuff like that. But it's like being in a space like this was like a true test of like who you are, and like discipline, everything.
oh
It's
yeah,
like, oh, you want everything, you want this, and this. Okay, this is what you have to do. And it's it's not easy, but I wouldn't say it's hard. Like it's just, you just have to be willing, like you said, like the journey. You have to be willing to go through all that.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, you brought up some great points about trading, like great points about it.
And it just also, I feel like after dealing with, you know, having contact with a lot of people just about trading or seeing their journeys and different stuff like that, like it helps you communicate and be a better communicator too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or see for what they are and for what they're not. You know what I mean? Just a lot of different things that happen on a great level of people, and also just kind of on some not so great of people. You know what I mean? And that's okay because we're all different and everybody's got their own journeys. But like, number one thing I'll ever ask for anything in business is just transparency and communication. Like, if you have transparency and communication, like, you never gotta hide or like, I wonder what so and so thinks if I do this,
Hmm.
or I wonder, like, most of the time there's always a problem because people don't end up talking. You know what I mean? And that
Hmm.
stuff gets a little weird, and it's like, man, why are you being weird? You know what I mean? Like,
For
people move,
sure.
like, bro, just communicate on stand on what it is that you want to do and believe in. And it's like, bro, I respect that no matter what anybody does. Like, I just want to be able to treat you with respect because of the way you move. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Sometimes people don't provide that, and that's
At
okay.
all.
Like, that's okay. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
facts. I think, yeah, like first time getting in this space, where I was like probably the first time I've ever experienced like people really talking down on like what you're doing. Not saying that, I mean, everyone's entitled to their opinion, but especially when you haven't, that's not like a common thing. It
Mm-hmm.
was weird to hear everyone like low-key talking shit about something that they don't understand, because right, we both didn't understand what the space was, but once we just gave the space to understand it, it made sense. Like it's very logical sense. Like what we trade in is the largest financial market of the world. Like this is not something made up. It's not something that just came around. Like it's something that's been around forever. It's just for common people. You just don't really hear about it. They don't really talk about it. So you start talking about it and everyone's like in an uproar or like saying you're a scammer, saying this and the third. Like, so I know like how was it like going into this? Like, what was it like seeing how people reacted you being in the space, like the people around you? What was it like? Because I know everyone takes it differently, but
I feel like when people find out you're trading, they have a lot of different things to say, just like you said, because they don't understand. But I also feel like when you say you're trading, people assume you're saying you're gonna make $1 million tomorrow. You know
that
what I mean?
part. Yeah.
Them reflecting on how they feel about you trading. You know what I mean? Like, even though you didn't say, "Hey, I'm trying to make $1 million," like, and when I started, I was like, "Okay, I just want to make a little bit." But once I saw, and I was like, "Okay, like, I could realistically potentially make over $1 million in this market because the numbers make sense." There's a lot of different variables, of course, but the things that we've seen in the past, and the things that we've achieved, the things that we also have lost, has even brought more light to what's possible. You know what I mean?
Facts.
So it's just like
Facts.
dealing with that. It just a lot of the time dealing with people's own insecurities, and they're kind of just reflecting them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Projecting.
It's just you know at the end of the day,
Facts.
have a little bit of some little towards them. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I'm
You
about
know?
you're crazy,
Yeah.
and to have some of that
Facts.
over time, like after you do it for so long, you're like, dude, I'm not even thinking about it. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
this
I
is
don't even care anymore. Yeah.
and it, I do, and I'll never stop doing it. So you never have to ask if I'm doing it. But if it's, but then you get the super humble people that are like, bro, like I've been seeing you post that, and they have questions, and like that's the most amazing thing is when somebody can be curious, because it's like
Mhm.
the thing I've always said is like we're not salesmen, but we're talesmen. You know what I mean? And that's like, man, if somebody has a question, I'm like, I'm glad you asked. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm glad you're part of the 1% that had a question, and we could have some dialogue about something that is actually, uplifting, can add value
Yeah.
to your life, and you could have some questions. I can answer some questions for you. And at the same time, like when you're humble like that and even have questions, that lets you know, even if that person doesn't trade, at least they have, the curiosity to ask about something that they don't know about. Like just because
Facts.
you asked me a question, maybe you didn't trade, maybe it just wasn't for you, but you're curious enough to, when something does come up, you'll ask a question and be curious about that, and that might be your thing. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? But some people just scared to ask a question. It's like, bro, you already lost because you're not even asking anything.
literally. And I feel like they want to. It's just they don't want to be looked at a different way, which comes back down to like just caring what people think, right? Yeah, what I like this space for is it really did make you stop caring what people thought because it's like at the end of the day, what is that doing for me? It's not doing anything. And it just helped you, like you said, expose how they feel about you and what you're doing, because whatever we're doing doesn't affect anything that you're doing, you know? So, like, why does it even matter? But I think that's also the best part. I think when I first started, like, I thought, okay, these people for sure gonna ask me, like, are my friends, we're tight, like,
Yeah,
they know I wouldn't steer them anywhere that's a wrong direction, right? I'm not just someone that just jumps on things all the time. Like like you, I just want to make sure it's gonna make sense.
for
And
sure.
it was legit the all the people that I didn't think were gonna message me did. And I'm like, oh,
Oh
that's
yeah.
crazy.
All the things you talk about with friends you're close with and people you've been tight with about we're gonna do this and we're gonna do that, yada yada yada, and then something presents itself and it's like, how you not even asking? Like,
That's
especially
crazy.
it's just like it's a little bit heartbreaking almost. Like, dang,
Yeah.
I thought this was a little bit more. I thought our friendship was more than just what we're on right now. And like now we have a chance to grow and you're not why? Like, you know what I
You don't
mean?
even want to ask. Yeah,
Yeah.
like that. Like you don't even want to ask. Um, and yeah, that thing that just used to like blow my mind. And it's crazy because even to this day, like those people that reached out that like I were just acquaintances with, I wasn't even super tight with. Well, there was one that I was actually like super tight with that reached out. But
Mm,
other than that, like we're still really, really close to this day. And like that's still, I feel like how me and Taya with you just super grateful for the opportunity, and that's how they are even to this day. So it's just like crazy to have. It's just crazy to witness and to be in that type of space where you just it's just
It,
weird. It's just such a weird thing when it
it,
started.
it's like, you know, just even the messages I've gotten, I'm sure you've gotten just about XRP. You know what I mean? In the last
Yeah.
few, people are like, people that are like no longer in the business, people that we don't even follow each other. You know what I mean? Like, and not because there was any friction, but they joined somebody else's business. Probably got tired of seeing my posts. That's okay. I probably unfollowed you too. When I peep, I unfollow also. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's okay. We don't want to see each other anymore. It's not even any hard feelings. It's social media, but getting a DM from somebody, and it's so funny because they have the name of somebody else I know, and I thought it was somebody else, and I went and I saw like a few hours later, I was like, oh, that's you, like that, bro, like that's crazy. You know what I mean? But saying, hey, thank you so much for telling me to buy XRP in 2019. You know what I mean? And all that was game that I got and just passed down. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? I didn't start that. I didn't, you know what I mean? I'm just a messenger. You know what I mean? But I think
Yeah.
that's cool.
No, I think, and I'm gonna talk. I know we're like humble people, but just to put in perspective for you guys, and I feel like Tay does this all the time with me, like, because I'll be like, yeah, I think about just like the business we had and how much people we impacted, and like,
Mm,
it was 1,000, right, just in the chat, but
mm,
when he always puts in perspective, is like, bro, you got to think about how many of those 1,000 people told other people, even if they didn't come into the business, how much things they would have just mentioned. Like, so in reality, we really impacted what, like 5,000, like, or
yeah.
or more. You don't know. And this was like a good example of like random people messaging you, um, and just being like, hey, thanks for that. And like I always think about even just like the people, yeah, that's not in the business no more, but are doing other things in a similar space. And it's
Mm,
like, it's crazy to look back on and be like, damn, it's crazy that if they never came across any of our pages, never came across what we talked about, or whoever we talked about told them, like they wouldn't be doing this right now. Like that they wouldn't be in this space. And I
mm,
think that's like something that's like so cool to look back on, is like, damn, just because, we took an opportunity that was told to us and we just decided to tell, just to talk about it, that it has this whole ripple effect that to this day is still going 5 years later. Like
mm.
that's super impactful. Like that's super cool to think
Yeah.
about.
I think at its peak, like my back office, I think there was like 1,300 and some change.
That's
You know,
crazy.
like dude, that's a lot of people. You know what I mean?
That's a
Like
lot of people.
1,500 people standing in a room, like you're like, dang, like that's a big room. You know what I mean? Like I've been
Yeah,
500 before, 800. I'm like, dang, it was still like almost double this. You know what I mean? And like that's crazy, and I don't know, man. It's just it teaches you so much.
it's cool way. And I really, and like my biggest takeaway that I want like these people to listen to, if watching this, is like, it got a bad rep after like a year or two. It got a bad rep, and it really sucks because the market never changed. The skill set never changed. Nothing changed, right? It was just a certain amount of people that, whatever, they bent how they wanted to bend the business. But
Mm,
you're like, it's it's like just having the awareness to like, bro, at the end of the day, if it wasn't for these certain people, we wouldn't even be here. So yes, it was shitty, it did get a bad rep. But damn, like it was also got so many people, and it just sucks to see that a lot of people will now revert back to the mind. I mean, the assumption of, oh, scammers, oh, you guys did this. That no one did that. The
mm,
market is still flourishing right
mm.
now. Nothing
Facts.
changed. And I think too it's just like a lack of accountability. Like they provided an opportunity, right? And you chose to not really take full advantage. Like, did you to lock into the education as much as you should have? Did you do all these things much you should, or were you just relying on what these people were saying? They provided you with the information. Yes, they were wrong in many aspects, but also
Yeah.
too just looking at like, how did you navigate the space?
I
You
mean,
know?
I feel like a lot of people don't have the courage to do something for themselves based on what they think, based on what they gathered, based on what they've experienced, versus somebody else's experience, based on what they're looking at, based on something they don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I make my decisions based off, after the fact that I've gathered my information on what trading is, how I can participate in it, how I can grow a trading account. More importantly, how I can learn and how can I make sure I'm staying in the right direction or keeping my trading mind just sound, trading psychology, being in the environment. What could I do to propel myself to be around that. You know what I mean? So once you kind of get a taste of like, okay, I'm doing this and it's working for me, I'm doing more of that, right? And as I'm doing more of that, I figure out, oh, this over here is also helped me. So now I'm going to do both of these things, and then you just
Yeah.
keep that, and also finding the people that click with you, like. You and Tay are grand example. You know what I mean? Like you guys are older than me. You guys are both from two different places. You're from New Zealand. He's from North Philly. I'm from and it's just like we're all three different ethnicities, different age.
Yep.
It's just like that's crazy, you know what I mean? But I feel like, even when you're saying like there's at the beginning of this, just like genuine people, like they're very hard to come by. And I also feel like they're hard to come by because not a lot of people are being their genuine self to be able to attract that
Receive that.
him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and even me, like, it took me some time to be like, you know what, I'm not really adjusting based on who I'm around. You know what I mean? And like, we all catch ourselves
Facts.
like with different types of relationships or different kind of environments. We might know people in different ways. You know what I mean? The
Yeah.
way I know my football team ain't the way I know my friends I trade with or
Yeah.
my teachers. Like we all have a different kind of relationship, but I started looking at everything just the same. You know what I mean? I started being my
Facts.
trading brought me some confidence because I felt like now I have something to look forward to and something to keep on waking up for every single day with a purpose. You know what I mean? Versus
Yeah.
like it
Facts.
was kind of just like I'd be uncomfortable in certain rooms because I'm like, I don't really know what I'm doing with my life. And some of these people know what they're doing. And not that I'm hating by any means, but I just feel like I need to get my shit together and know what direction I'm going and just to be able to have that internal confidence in just what I got going on. Because I'm
Facts.
not worried about nobody else, but I want to feel that. I'm concerned with
Yeah.
me internal. You know what I mean? So
Facts.
trading helped me find that.
Bro, for a fact, yeah. Like trading, that's what it felt like it gave me. It was like a sense of direction. Like when I first started, I was working two jobs. Like and I was same position, like what I want to do, and like it was really like I don't have enough money to do what I want to do, or I don't have enough time because I'm working two jobs. Like, bro, I need something. And then the opportunity landed right in my lap, and I'm like, holy shit! And at first, I was very reluctant, which Dante always talks about. Um, Not reluctant on the trading, reluctant on just like talking about it, because to be honest, I did care what other people thought, and I was still stuck in the like Ray had played basketball, and like all of a sudden I'm going to be doing this, and I just cared too much, and then it was like, bro, this makes too much sense. Like it makes too much sense for me to just sit back and like not tell somebody, and then like how hypocritical was that? Like I wish someone told me earlier, and I'm over here got all the information. I don't say shit. Like you're just a hypocrite. So it was like once you got over that stump, it was like, bro, this is amazing. Like this space to this day, and I think the people that really still trade right now, like, bro, there's not very many of us. Like,
Mm-hmm.
not very many of us. Like, everyone stopped, and that's just what's
Yeah.
as crazy as but you forgot the whole point of trading, bro. It was like trading, like nothing
Yeah.
changed. Like,
But like,
why did you trade?
why do you think that happens? Why do you think a lot of people stop after, even if it's years, 5 years?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. I think for a lot of different reasons. I think um that lack of accountability for yourself. Like the lack of, because yeah, there is an opportunity where you can blow money in this space, and I've blown money in this space. But
But
looking in the mirror and being like, bro, what did you do to lead to this? Okay, change it. People don't want to do that. And then I feel like they start blaming people. They start blaming the market. They start blaming the person they put them on. They start blaming all these people. And it's like, bro, that was your fault. No one told you to do this, that, and the third. That was your decision. And the only way I feel like you take control is just by admitting that shit, I messed up. I effed up. And then I think too is like, yeah, they blame other people's they blame their non-success on other people. Like you
mm,
can't do that. Like that's just so weird. That's again lack of accountability. And I think too, like people realize it wasn't like you said, like, oh, the assumption is if I'm a trader then I make millions of dollars, and they come in the space and they're like, I haven't made money in 6 months, what do I do? Okay, so do you think you'd be a great basketball player in 6 months? Like, what do
Mhm.
we expect here? So I think it's too like the expectations, I think, coming in, which, you know, they weren't realistic for themselves. But trading, you gotta look at, just like you look at anything in life. It's not like it's not a get rich quick thing, and you don't even want it to be. If it is, bro, it's just, who wants a get rich quick thing? That's not gonna last long. Like you said, it's a skill set, and the only way you get better at skill sets is you keep doing it over and over again. You make mistakes, right? You learn, you grow. But if you miss out on all those steps, I think a lot of people just gave up too quick. Like, it got too hard. But bro,
Mhm.
life is hard in some aspects. It's like, choose your hard. Like,
Mhm.
you know what I mean? Going, it always rattles through my head all the like all the mindset trainings and stuff. Is like, is going to work every single day or working two jobs, is that hard? Okay, so how is this harder, or vice versa? Like, choose what's hard for you. And so it's like, to this day I just could never picture myself just never like stopping trading. Like, what? That sounds crazy.
And just, I feel like with our circle and our team, I feel like gratitude is just big time, and people like to talk about it, and people like to, effort and act like they're really grateful. But it's like, man, like I make myself see something every day that I'm grateful, like whether it be writing it down, but like my aunt actually got me this book and it just says stay positive, but it's just like something small, you know what I mean, where it'll like just tell you different steps moving forward for the day. You know what I mean? And just like,
Right.
even, I know we every time we talk, we always talk about how grateful we are for whatever it might be, whether roof over the head, like it's almost crazy even talking about this, because it's like it's such a way of life. But people always say they're grateful, but it's like, are you? I don't know if you are. You know what I mean? Because like
No.
I know
These levels.
my gratitude is just up so much the last 5 years. You know what I mean? It's just from the people I'm around, like, and I just feel like that's my whole perspective on everything. Because no matter what's happening, bad day, whatever's happening, like you can find something to be
Something.
great. Like, dude, just find something. I don't even want to hear
Something.
whatever you're about to complain about. You know what I mean? Like,
At
yes,
all.
that happened, but like, what's good from it? You know what I mean? It's just,
Facts.
ugh.
And I think that takes like, another great thing that came out of the space was like the personal development side. I think there's so many people out there that are just not personally developed, that when they come into situations, they do not know how to handle things. And I feel like that space, well, this space was so great at that, because we had like mindset trainings sometimes every night. Like, we had people like pouring life into you, and like self-belief, and like how you should really navigate. And that, like, I'm super grateful for that, because you don't get that every day. There's not someone that is telling you like you're worth it, you deserve more, and like you should read this book and that book and be grateful. Like, these not people telling you that. So it was like, for 5 years it was just like grateful, grateful, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, for
self
sure.
believe in yourself, believe in
Like,
yourself. And it was just like, damn, this shit sticks. Like,
yeah,
I
for
love it
sure.
here. And what else was I gonna say? Um, what was the sidetrack? I'm getting sidetracked, but there was something really good I wanted to say. We
I
were
hate.
talking about gratitude. Oh my god. Okay, so obviously Dante, who we all know and love, was probably like the most, other than you, like the only other person that, and other than my like mom and my parents, but like really spoke gratitude into existence. And like, I didn't realize how much of a big thing it is and how much it can change your life until you really practice like gratitude. Like, I remember, this is sidetrack and we're gonna wrap up soon, but I'm just like, I remember in high school, like coming over to America, and I was really I was like getting depressed, like to the point where like I literally went to the doctor. I like couldn't stop crying. Like, I was like nervous, scared, anxious to leave home and come to America. And like my
Mhm.
whole life, like when I decided I wanted to be a college athlete, was like, I'm so scared that I'm gonna come back home because I miss home. That was my big thing. And then I got to the point of like, bro, like you're leaving, and now I'm over here crying, crying, and like all the time, just over nothing, just crying. And then I go to the doctor and I'm like, I think you might be a little depressed. And then I'm like, oh, for real? What the hell? This is crazy. And then, but when I went to go see a therapist, it was gratitude. Like, have a gratitude journal, write what you're grateful for. So I started practicing that and writing things down every single day. 5 things, wake up in the morning, what
Mhm.
I'm grateful for, because at that time I was focusing on everything that I am going to lose and like I don't want to have, instead of thinking of everything that I have and everything that I'm about to gain. and I'm about
Mm,
to live out my dream that I've wanted, and I'm over here crying about it. Like, what the hell? And I just remember practicing and writing down every day, like 5 things, boom, boom, boom. And it really changed. Like, it really changed my life. And I always say that gratitude changed my life, but it really actually did. And then you meet someone like Dante, meet someone like yourself, where it's like the gratitude is like on a whole different level. Like you said, like these just different levels to gratitude. And you
mm,
can always get better and you can always, be more personally developed to get to those levels. But like, I think, like you said, being in an environment where it's like, bro, the gratitude is to the ceiling, you automatically live up to that. And it's been like so good to be around people where, like you said, like we rarely complain. And if we do complain, we have more gratitude than we do have complaints. So it
mm,
always outweighs that. And you just don't find a lot of people in navigating just the world like that. Like I try and instill it just like with the people I work with and like me being a manager now, like I try and instill that to the people like, bro, there's always something you can be grateful for. And it's like taking that awareness enough to, yes, if you are in a shitty situation, okay, what is something good I can take out of it? Because there always is, right? Like there's always something you can take out of a bad situation. And then
mm.
how do you take that and move on? And I feel like that's how you really grow. And I feel like that's why people don't grow, is they don't have that awareness to it. But not me dragging it out. But yeah,
Nah,
gratitude, bro, save your life.
yeah. And
Really
I was
will.
like, I think that's what's made, me just so connected to you and Tay is like not only like gratitude, but also just being self aware or being able to say something or just like knowing what we're good at. You know what I mean? We know Tay's Tay, way, way, and Blake's Blake. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and we almost don't need to explain it. Like, we'll still talk about it or something comes up.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, yeah, we're
But
good.
we just know. Yeah.
We know what time. You know what I mean? And I think that just comes from I think being grounded in who we are. You know what I mean?
That's
I don't know. It's a lot of
yeah.
lot of different things that we've seen, but a lot of great things. And I think, dude, I think the last two times I've ever cried was one because of Blue, R.I.P. Right, but when you would hit Chairwoman, you know what I mean? And I
Yeah,
think,
Jesus.
dude, and that was happy tears. Shout out to the
Yes.
that was some good happy tears right there. And that's
Bro.
like that was I think that was probably like the better feeling like that I
Yes.
since ever playing football or like winning a big game or throwing a big touchdown. You know what I mean? Because like that was like man, like that was something like we were all able to witness and be a part of. As a team, like that was a
Yeah. That
personal
was crazy.
like like man, that was the team. Like we were, everybody was doing this together for one another.
Bro, yeah, that was just a crazy feeling. And I felt like I think that's why we got so tight around that period because yeah, I would say we are so genuine and like especially in that space, like we really cared about people and we still really care about people. Like and when that did happen, when we all hit it, because I feel like that's what it felt like, I felt like we all were like, damn, like this is crazy. It was just such a like, I don't know, it was fire. Like I was so glad that that happened for like all of us and again, that's why I'm like, bro, this space we've just seen everything from the tops to the bottoms of like what's possible by just taking on an opportunity. Um, I think also just reverting back, like being yourself. A lot of people don't have the courage to be themselves or shy away from being themselves. And like you said, when you're truly yourself, you start attracting all the stuff that you are, as a person or good things. And even if not good things, good lessons, even if it's not good stuff. But
Mm.
yeah, it was a crazy it's fire, dude. Very grateful for those times looking back.
And one thing I was thinking about too is like the first, 2.5 years in the business, like we'd seen so much and just like a lot of success and pretty quick, you know what I mean? Like pretty quick.
Facts.
And looking back, like there were times like while that was happening where I was so focused and I only knew this because of what I felt after, but there was times where like when I was making the most amount of money those first 2 years, I was less happy than I was when business was broke,
Facts.
organizations
Yeah.
going crazy. You know what I mean? The resistance
Facts.
check stop hitting, and you're like, oh my, you know what I mean?
Damn.
And like shit gets real, you know what I mean? But and once you experience it, you know what I mean? But that initial, like, oh shit, like, it let me know that I wasn't even grateful for what I had. You know what I mean? Because I was
Facts.
so like, I was so looking forward to and this and that,
Friday.
this and
Yeah.
this ain't nothing. You know what I mean? Like, it was just like, it was to be expected, like as far as the success that was coming because of the work, but also like that mindset helped me have a lack of gratitude. You know what I mean for what I
Facts.
for the most, having 3 people in your business, having 12 people, having whatever. You know what I mean? And it's like, man, I still wasn't grateful. So I've seen times where I've had less and been more grateful and more happy than the times where I had the most.
Hit more. Facts.
It's like, whoa,
What?
like you know what I mean? But it's like
Man.
once your mindset,
Yeah.
just feel yourself kind of evolving in a sense, and especially just in the gratitude. It's like, dude, I could never not be happy because of money. You know what I mean? Like that will never be
Facts.
the base of my happiness. Obviously, guys, we're chasing millions, billions. Better believe it. Like we got big standards, big goals, but at the same time, like I'm never not going to be grateful for what's directly in front of me because there's
100%. Yeah,
don't
this
have.
space definitely did that for sure. Was like, damn, and I'm so grateful for that. Like that alone was like super a great a great opportunity to grow as a person, and just gratitude standpoint, which I'm super happy for. No, it was a great space, man, and I feel really bad for people that don't trade anymore because you guys should like you should. It should never that whatever happened in your situation, you should still trade. It's funny, I had an Uber driver and we got talking about trading and he was like, "Yeah, I did it back in 2020." I was like, "What made you stop?" "Oh, well, da 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 da." da." I'm like, "But why did you stop though?" You know what
Yeah,
I mean? I was like, "Bro, I started the same time you did." I was like, "I still trade. Like
yeah.
I would never let none of that take away from what I know this market still does, still provides, still
Mm.
can help you with. Like you're talking about people. Yeah, okay, but the market is the same, you know?
Especially 'cause
So,
it's somebody that just wants to, I don't know, pay the electric bill. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Just
get gas.
make $10 a day. You know what I mean? Like you don't gotta be in here thinking, oh, I'm gonna make X amount. Like a lot of the time, the people that do make a large amount are people that really don't have large expectations. You know what I mean? Because they're trying.
Facts.
And the people that have the expectations of I need this and I need that, like end up stressing themselves to failure, like every time because it's not happening. Like
100%.
we could talk about that for forever.
Forever. I know, 100%. But but no, just to wrap up because it's been a really great conversation. Super appreciate you being on here. Last question for you is just like what does the future look like for Blake? What are some goals, some things you're working towards, or just things you're looking forward to, or anything? Or you just cool with where you're at?
No, we definitely want some growth. We definitely need more. We want more to give more to have more to be able to, bless the family more. There's a lot of things to knock off the list, but it all starts with personal growth. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
That's me every single day. But I could ramble on about that and personal development, yada yada. But when we're looking at impacting people, like I just want to look to put myself more in different environments out here, and like this is something I procrastinated on for a long time, like because we've talked about going to these different events and yada yada, but I just want to put myself in a better environment to learn with people and grow with people that want to learn or grow or meet people. You know what I mean? So I got to kind of figure out what areas I want to go to and really just connect to. But I just want to grow my presence out here, just from a branding,
Hmm.
from my relationships, and I feel like I've done that a lot too. Just working at a golf course, also like it's something like that's super super fire. Like
You're
I,
gonna meet some cool people at a golf course, that's for
hey,
sure.
I love all the people I meet out here, and honestly, I could see myself in the future maybe doing something based around golf, even if it's content standpoint. Not me. I don't need to be on camera. I'm getting nice. Don't get me wrong, but I just like being behind the lens and like where
Yeah,
I in Pinehurst. Like this is like literally where American golf started. So just a lot of history here.
yeah,
In golf, and people come here like this is their bucket list for golf. Like I meet people from all around the world. Like people will be here like, oh, I'm in from Vietnam. You know what I mean? Like I'm here from China,
damn.
here from South Africa. I'm here from wherever. Like this is like Vegas of golf because of how many people come here to golf. And you just meet a lot of cool people, trade a lot of different information and cards and contacts, and you never know who you're gonna meet, who you're gonna know, and who can help you, or more importantly, who you can help. So I just think golf is something that's super lit. And after playing, it's just kind of been my niche to like
Yeah.
that's what took over for football. Like I'm a golfer now. I might not be that good, but I'm getting there.
You know what's crazy is another great thing this space provided us was like even if we were outgoing people and were able to spoke to people, the idea of networking became so much more important. And I think
Yeah.
it's like because that's how I feel like at Nike. Like I'll come across really fire people, and I'm just not afraid to network. I'm not afraid to ask and afraid to. It's like you're just putting that space from doing what we do and
Oh,
trading.
bro,
So
oh,
I can imagine the golf course how much fire
bro,
people you meet.
I talk all day long. Like super cool. A lot of the guys I golf with now, like old timers. You know what I mean? And no
Yeah.
disrespect, they might come across this, right? I follow some of them. Bro, these are my guys. You know what I mean? But like aging from 87 years old to me. You know what I mean? Like
Fire.
81, 78, 68, like on that range. So just hearing their different perspective on the things that they've learned, like they just see the world a different way than I do. They've seen it for
Right.
6 years of me, so that's a lot more time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just cool, man. So I just encourage anybody watching this, like, just be open to listen to somebody. You know what I mean? Just listen. So many people are focused on what they want to say and what they want somebody to know about them, and it's
Yeah.
like, man, shut up and listen. Let the
Just
conversation.
listen. Facts.
You know what I mean? But yeah,
I love it. Okay,
yeah,
cool. So, we are gonna be looking forward to some golf content. And I
yeah,
think this is the right time for it. Like, I think on social media, TikTok, and all that, like anyone can be anything, and you can make it with anything on this space, which I like. Love the internet right now for that. It's so cool to be able to see people truly being themselves and being successful for that. Because like you said, I feel like in 2020 it was like lifestyle, how much money you got, what you look like, not who you are. And I feel like social media now is really based on like who are you and what's something that you bring, like who are you as a person and how do you relate to everybody. There's so much more of that, like which I'm really, happy about.
yeah.
Um
No, for a fact, man. Well,
but
I'm
yeah,
this. I know we could probably talk for hours, but
forever. No, yes.
a solid
Thank you,
one.
Blake. It's
I
been a pleasure.
happy
Um
30th birthday.
oh thanks. Yeah, I'm old now, guys. I'm 30. Yeah. It's gonna be weird. To say that now because I'm like, even saying 29 was like, ugh, and now saying 30 is gonna be like,
Top it with 27.
I know it's crazy. Damn, you about to be 28. That's
Yeah,
crazy next year. But
man.
no, I appreciate
Oh,
you, Blake. Thank you so much.
what episode is this? What number?
It's gonna be 10 or 11.
Okay. Way's World, episode 11. Out.
Signing off.
Let's go.
I'm like